Ophiocordyceps unilateralis is a fungus that is parasitic to ants specifically. Penn State University recently did a study on these zombie ants to see if normal ants in a population could detect or identify these zombie ants in the population. Based on this study, the Penn State scientists determined that normal ants cannot identify when another ant in the population is infected by this cordyceps fungus. After around 21 days, these infected ants will climb to the top of vegetation and sprout into a plant-like structure as seen right here in this picture. The process of a zombie ant turning into a plant-like structure can be seen right here. There are 4 stages. The first stage is that the zombie ant gets infected. The parasite enters the body of the ant. As stated before, Penn State found that the infected ants cannot be detected by healthy ants. Towards the end of their lives, around the 21st day of being infected, they end up climbing vegetation and latching onto a leaf or branch. Once latched onto the leaf or branch, they end up sprouting into a plant-like structure as seen here. When the ant has officially died, they end up spreading their spores to the bottom layer of the forest. This is how the parasite reproduces. Eventually, spores will catch onto another ant and then infect them. This area below the plant is known as the killing zone. The reason I was so intrigued by this topic of cordyceps was because Trad Cotter, who came and spoke to our class, brought in a live example of a cordyceps. I immediately went home and researched more about cordyceps and found that this study by Penn State was done right in my homeland. I've been a resident of Fort Mill, South Carolina my entire life. This study was done in the upstate of South Carolina towards Clemson, which is where I go to school. This immediately grabbed my interest in the topic, and I began searching more about cordyceps. I found out that there's a lot of potential medically and therapeutically with this fungus in particular. The Chinese Olympic team in 1993 had all of their athletes from the track and field team take cordyceps before their races and their practices. This really helped their stamina and helped them perform at a high level, eventually winning medals in the event. But more is done on cordyceps that isn't just about stamina. It also serves as a potential cure to cancer. And for the lovers of science fiction, imagine a world where people can control other people through mind control. This fungus is the closest thing to mind control that is found in nature. This is because the fungus, or the parasite, takes over the body of the ant and forces them to climb vegetation, eventually where they end up dying. No matter how hard the ant tries, it cannot resist the cordyceps fungus. There are so many ways that the cordyceps fungus can be utilized in humans to benefit old and young people. Eventually, old people could live even longer due to increased stamina and physical activity, and cancers could be solved, or even mind control could be used. And this is why I find this fungus so fascinating.